What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the first, or I guess second, installment of the DTISF Daily Check-in. I'm joined with two amazing people, mentors of mine and colleagues of mine as well. Rob Fisby, Trevor Henley, welcome. How you guys doing?
Yeah. Hello.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, basically we're just gonna have a quick little chat, a little update to the community, and then Ra, you have a message for the community as well that you wanted to share. But before that, how you guys doing, Trevor? Ra, how you guys doing?
I'm doing okay. It's been a productive day. I've got to talk to one of my mentors, the amazing Dr. Lois Moore, and she is always uplifting and she always brings a smile to my face. And she had some insights for me and business as usual in the operations game, doing work and getting things done. As Tuesdays go, it is definitely not a Monday, and I'm happy for that.
Right, always happy it's not a Monday. I would say for me, it's been still really hard with this struggle and where we're at, and crunching numbers and figuring all that out. But as I always say, when you're feeling you're at the bottom, all you got to do is reach out and let people know what you're going through. And I've had two amazing conversations with longtime trusted colleagues and friends and clients and referral partners and you name it, and just always great edification knowing you're on the right track when this moment is really just a blip or a valley or a trough or whatever you want to allude to it. But the conversations and the real relationships are what come out of these things. And you just know that, wow, I do have people that are here. There are people that are supporting me no matter what. And you can't go wrong with that.
Nice.
How are you, Eric?
I'm pretty good. I'm just enjoying my Tuesday as always. It's nice and sunny, so just getting some sun. But I'd have a question before we get started. So you mentioned that you're talking to people about this downtime right now, or not necessarily downtime, but this learning curve moment. What do you say to some of these people when they ask you and you want to be transparent, but you also want to have, like, what's your approach? Because I've gotten some people asking me like, oh, how's work? How's things at Desire to Inspire? And I'm like. Um, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know, not necessarily what angle to play, but like, do I ask these people like, "Hey, I need help," or do I say like, "Yo, we need money," or something like that? Like, what is your approach to that?
Well, first, what do you think the answer is for you?
I mean, I can tell you what I said. I said, this was and I think he'll appreciate me mentioning him, Drew, one of your colleagues as well.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Stable. Shout out to Drew. He asked me, how are things at Desire to Inspire? I'm like, so right now things aren't looking too great in terms of money. We don't have a lot of work coming in, and so I'm probably not getting paid this paycheck. And then he was like, oh man, that's really tough. What do you think about it? And I'm like, I for me personally, and I'm young, so this is how I think. I don't really care about the money. I don't really need money. I live at home, and I'm perfectly fine with that because I have, I know what I have. I have a roof over my head. I have a beautiful family, and so that's all I care about. As long as we're good, I'm okay. You guys are all healthy and good as well, and so that's most important. Second to that, the money is like, oh, okay, well now we have to learn how to adapt, and if stuff wasn't working before, let's look forward and see what we can change, what we can test,
Mm-hmm.
and then see what will work in the future. And so Drew was like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, it is, it is learning, but obviously you get to learn about what doesn't work, and then pick up from there." And so that's my thoughts on it, and that's how I approach that.
That was
It-
beautiful.
so if you want my answer,
That's so good.
go back to about minute 3 of this video and watch what you just said, because that's perfect. Part of what is why we do what we do and tell stories of people and helping people express where they're at in life is actually just to let people know that it's okay to be real and to let people know where you're at, and that let people know it's okay to ask for help. And so my phone calls the last couple of days with long trusted colleagues have been like, hey, how you doing? And actually, we don't even do the how you doing part. We just skip right into it. And I go, hey, so do you have like 5 to 10 minutes to talk right now? And if they do, great. If not, we'll schedule another time to do it. But then when we get the conversation, I'm like, I'm at the hardest point in my professional career right now, and I am seeking out people that I have long-standing relationships that I can lean on to hopefully find answers in the realm of um, like longer term contracts, grants, resources, um, but also really I'm leaning on my network and my resources for information to let people know where I'm at growing this organization and leading this organization. And like I said, failing at the moment where we're at this moment, but being like, here's where I'm at. And they're like, oh, well, I've been there, or I've done this, or this is how we got through it. And so I'm gaining a lot of information, and I'm just asking for experience and help in any and or all of the areas. So um, I am also asking for, if they're able to donate, great. If not, no worries. I'm not, like, as you said, money's not the thing that I'm after, but money's the thing that is currently the issue with us. So it's um it's really hard, and I have to stop and swallow my pride a little bit every time, and I also have to slow down and not just seek, it's that damn saying, use two ears and one mouth, use them proportionately. So I get to ask the question and then I listen to them. And even if they're telling me something I've already like tried or I'm learning or I'm working on, I still need to listen, and I get to listen. And if I listen, I even learn more information about what I thought I already knew. And it helps me in every bit of the sense right now. So was that the long-winded answer to your question?
Yeah. What about you, Rob? What do you, how are you approaching this?
So I am a natural oversharer. Um, so people know all my business anyway. But um, I've always been, I mean, this is the first time that I've been in a position where the need for me to really be transparent about what was going on um, with any difficulties with Desire to Inspire Studios has come up. And honestly, one of the things that I have come to learn in my almost 40 years now um, is that the, our biggest strengths rely on our ability to be vulnerable. And that's where we make human connections in our vulnerability. That's where we can learn to rely on others, and where um, others realize that they can rely on us. To speak to Trevor's phone calls, I was listening to a podcast a while back, and a really good point was brought up. People have a hard time asking for help until they've been asked themselves. Once you ask someone for help, once you reach out that hand and say, I'm a human being, I've made a mistake, or I need help, then that person that you've asked for help is a lot more likely to come to you and feel safe being vulnerable in return. So actually doing so, actually being vulnerable and asking people for things when you need them, or for assistance, guidance, a warm place to sleep, all of those things actually gives them the opportunity to also be human and also be vulnerable with you, because you've created that safe space for them. So I actually, if it's okay with you guys, I can read the letter that I wrote to Dr. Moore when I reached out to her. Would that be okay?
Yeah,
Good.
that'd be great.
Okay. Um, I did ask her to excuse me. I said, I'm going to ask that you please forgive me in advance, as this will likely be a bit rambly. And so Trevor asked that I reach out to you and discuss the current position that Desire to Inspire Studios Foundation has found itself in. We have experienced some pretty incredible moments since the beginning of the year. Our team has grown to 9 individuals. The 2 newest additions to our team, Christina and Laila, were able to complete and submit our first grant to the Marin County Office of Equity, and we completed our second speaking engagement for Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. We hosted our second international intern, Poppy, who's 16 and from France, and it was an incredible experience for all of us. There's so many moments that I'm proud of for our team, and I could go on for quite a while, but I'll get to the meat of my email to you. We grew our team to accommodate the work we had coming in and to focus on our program. Unfortunately, the shift of incoming work turned again, and our revenue over the past 3 months hasn't been able to keep up. We asked, Trevor asked me to reach out to you for guidance. He's doing the work of outreach, looking for contracts, grants, or funding resources. And we as an organization want to leverage relationships to raise 150,000 plus dollars to support our operations and support our programs. And he asked if I would be willing to reach out to you um, and ask for any advice on how to leverage those relationships, what resources or potential partnerships you might know of, any other input that you might be able to share on how we can better fund and support our program. Honestly, I've never written a letter like this, and I'm not really sure how it will be received. I will say that our organization is struggling to cover our operational costs, and our team is supporting each other however we can so we can get through this together. At this point, we're all taking turns deferring payroll so that whoever is feeling the financial pinch the most is supported. And having been the one most on the end of my team's generosity has been a humbling but incredible experience. I don't know that there's a place in Marin where this level of support can be found in a work environment. Anyway, I've been rambling long enough. I'll close by saying your counsel is in any capacity would be greatly appreciated. I consider you one of the blessings received by DTSF and for myself. I'm so grateful that you introduced yourself that day at the luncheon, and I also hope that the next time I send you a rambling email, I'm simply sharing our achievements and crowing about the growth from our hardships. Thank you so much for your time.
That's
It was really
beautiful.
hard to write, really hard to write.
But why was it hard to write?
Um, I think because we live in a society that supports strength as an island as opposed to strength as a community. Um, Vulnerability is viewed as weakness by closed minded and small minded and individualistic people. Um, I knew it was going to be well received, but I've never asked for this kind of support from someone outside of my closest circle. And that was uncomfortable. But I'm also 100% aware that discomfort is what causes growth. So,
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I really like that point, and I think, like, because I hear you speak a lot and you're very good at it. I think this is like a very, very well written letter, and I think that this time right now is pushing us to be the best versions of ourselves. And so I can just hear it in that letter and the way you spoke it and the way you said it, especially with like passion and like you mean it, and it's I like this because it's pressure. It's a different type of pressure. We perform under pressure all the time, but this is different. And like you said, this type of different discomfort is what will help us grow. And so uh,
absolutely.
very
And
insightful.
Raw, real quick, just because I know what happened after sending that email, and how quick did something happen?
She immediately scheduled a Zoom meeting with me for 2 o'clock. I sent that email, I think, at 12:28. So I'm guessing as soon as she had a free slot, she scheduled a meeting with me. And the very first thing she said to me was, "It's so good to see you. Tell me what's going on." And she asked about my family, and I shared about my family and the transitions that we're in. And the next question she asked was, "What are you doing to keep yourself balanced?" And we talked about what I was doing to keep myself balanced, and we discussed my blessings, and I included her in that. And then we got into it, and we talked about the work that Desire to Inspire Studios does and why it's so important and how she 100% believes in what we're doing and how there's so much money in Marin that we should 100% be funded for the program that we're creating for young people, and we should be funded for the ability to expand it. She knows that we work predominantly with high school students. She's like, you should be working in elementary schools. You
Mhm.
should be getting them young. You should be providing this support for the youngest of the young so they grow up knowing that this is an opportunity and this is available to them. So hearing how much she believed in us and how she had absolutely no doubt that what we did was of value. And she pointed me in a couple of different directions. It was amazing.
That's awesome. And now that you've had that entire experience all throughout today, how are you feeling?
Weepy. Um, it was it was pretty incredible. She also reminded me that a couple of the directions that she pointed into were women that I had met through her that I hadn't even considered as
Mm,
a resource as they're developing relationships, but they Eric, I don't know if you get I talk a lot and I know that you see me talk a lot, but I don't make connections easily.
Mhm.
I'm not an extroverted person. So when I do connect with somebody, it's usually pretty deep, pretty fast.
Right.
And she immediately, when she was bringing up individuals, she was like, "Have you spoken to Allison? Have you spoken to Chantel?" And I was like, "Oh my God, of course."
right.
These are two women who would be a wonderful fount of information and knowledge. They have 30 plus years in both the for profit and nonprofit world. I don't know why I didn't think of it. But to speak to the learning experience of this, like we don't know what we don't know.
Mhm.
And anytime we ask someone for insight, you're gaining a little bit of knowledge, even if it's just them reminding you of the knowledge that you already have.
Mhm. Right. That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
a
that's amazing. Thank you, Raw.
Yeah. The
There's a
pleasure.
reason why we all call you boss.
yeah.
They like it. So yeah.
Eric, where do we go from here?
I mean, I think this is a perfect segue into kind of maybe brainstorming a little bit more about like who can we reach out to for help or what we can do ourselves to help our organization out. I know this is one way of doing it, communicating, maybe brainstorming some ideas. I definitely want the world to see this and hear this, and so I'm definitely thinking like, okay, we got to clip this, we got to post it on YouTube, got to promote it on social media. Um, all of the above. And so that's one way that I want to do it. And I know, I mean, I got a bunch of ideas. I think the more we do this, and the more we just keep talking to people, keep telling them what's going on, and then keep showing them how we're going to get through it, we're documenting basically us getting out of it. And then when it's all
Yeah.
said and done, people are going to look back and say, "Wow, like they really did that," and they can be along the way. And that's how we're going to basically, this kind of goes into like relationship building, because people
Right.
are going to build that relationship with us and by seeing it, and then they're going to be like, oh, like, they'll see the flashy stuff like we talked about like on social media, like, oh wow, they do this event or this type of camera or whatever. um, that's what gets them in the door, but I think these moments right here are going to get people to stay and really kind of buy into what we're doing.
Right. There's so much more we can do together than we can ever do on our own, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
I definitely would love to have um, a segment where we really just brainstormed partnerships
Hmm.
and creative collaborations. Um, I would love the opportunity to talk about the work that we have done in that capacity previously, because, we have the Cow Palace situation is really the truest example of like a brainchild between one organization and us. They did it themselves on a very, very small scale. Their prototype was successful. They had the vision, they executed in a very last minute, very bare bones way. And now we have the opportunity to allow them to build that dream again into something national, something monumental, much in the way that we, unbeknownst to us, did for postpartum support services. And
Right.
I don't know, Eric, if you really understand like the how monumental where postpartum support center is right now, because I can pull video clip of our donuts for breakfast with Ivana, and me asking her what her like heart child would be, like what her dream for postpartum center would be, and her explaining in detail what having a brick and mortar in this community would do for the community, what services she would be able to provide, how like that would be the pinnacle of success for her organization. And we could run that video that you put together for her that got her the grant specifically to make that dream happen.
Wow.
Like that is an incredible chronological understanding. All of the videos that we did for her, all of the communications that we did for her, all of the events that we collaborated on, culminating in her asking us and trusting us to create the video that made her dream happen.
Right.
It's so wild because it's very interesting and eye-opening, I would say, because to me that was just like, oh, I'm here and I just want to get this done in terms of like I want to do the best that can be done, right? Like not the best that I can do, but the best that can be done. And then
Mhm.
now I think this was like probably oh man, I don't even know. I think it was earlier this year on Instagram. Actually, I saw that Postpartum had posted they had won the one of the awards for the nonprofit here in Marin, and I just kind of like was like, oh, they did it, like they did it, and that was the full circle moment where I was like, oh, I was just I was a part of something that was way bigger than me, way
Way
bigger, you know.
bigger.
Right.
Like,
So to bring it back to like our mission and purpose, just for trainer timeout, when Eric, you joined us with the idea of what as an intern?
I mean, I just wanted to learn. Like I heard Drew say like, yo, I know this guy named Trevor who edits and does all this cool stuff, and he doesn't know the technical language, and I didn't either at the time. And I was like, and he
Sorry,
said
neither
he's
do I.
always looking for interns, and I said in my head, I'm like, yeah, like that's cool. I want to just dive into this world. I just want to know like what's going on, and that was kind of it. Like I didn't really have any goals or anything really. I think it all just kind of came after interacting with you guys and kind of hearing the conversation or having the conversations that are fueled by your experience, your wisdom, your knowledge, and me, my like ability to basically be curious and put some of the pieces together and say like, oh, like Trevor wants to have studios all around the world. Like that would be cool. Like I want to travel and film. Like this could work, or something like that. And so just putting
yeah.
those things together, I'm like, oh, this is a great fit.
Right, and all of it's I don't know about all, but the majority of your work for your 100-hour internship program with us was with postpartum, if I'm correct. Is
Uh,
that
Not
no?
quite.
Was some of it? Because I just remember, or he took the major lead on
He did.
postpartum,
He did. That was
right?
his final project. He
no,
took lead
Ah,
on that project. He
yeah,
did.
and that was
so
a good one.
your final project and Raw, because you're the one with words. What was his final project? Or Eric, you can do it in your words.
I
What was
guess
it for you?
for me, my final project was basically um, go do something uncomfortable where you've never been before. Like, but also, like let's film this video for postpartum support services or center,
Mhm.
postpartum support center, and let's really capture like the heart of what they're doing. Not like yes, there's gonna be people trying to get like diapers and necessities really for and mostly single mother, but there was also a bunch of husbands and fathers there, and really like show the why. Like why is this important? And when and that's not like what I was told, but that's kind of what I got when I was there. I'm like, oh, like shit, like this is a movie. This is really a movie, and we have to show it as a movie. And so basically, I was like, shoot, okay, let's put it together. That was the pre-production side of it, and the production side, and the post-production was like, oh, now like let's be professional, work with our client, our partners, and really try to give them what it is they need and what it is they want, and let's deliver on that, and be lenient, be respectful of their vision, and also um, learn as we go because there was a lot of editing that had to be done for that particular video because it
Mhm.
had to be the way it had to be. And now looking back at it, I was like, oh my god, like there's so many edits, but it makes sense because that what what it took at the end result is like, oh, it's there. It's like it's that award, it's Ivana being up there and receiving that award. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So that was like the final project for me. I don't know if I.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of context to your final project because it was kind of a big deal. um, that video was to accompany the grant proposal for $95,000. And the result of that is that they will now be able to support 3 times the families, and they currently support over, like, 2,000 families.
Wow. Wow.
So, the capacity that they have is a direct result of us operating from a mission and a purpose-driven place. So there's a difference, right? You go into a studio or you go into a house with a bunch of models and you make everything fabulous, right? It's
I
pretty.
never heard of that before.
Never done that before?
I've never heard of it, but it's
You
interesting.
go in, you go in and you make a video that's stunning to look at, right?
Your
And you
IG reel you just did.
right? You can do that. But and this is another reason why we didn't hesitate, like, we were in a place to hire you, and no one said no. No one
Mhm.
faltered. Your quest for knowledge, your curiosity, and your ability to naturally get where you need to get all on your own, like, you walked into your final project thinking, "I wanna do my best because I wanna do my best." And then you walked into that situation, and you stepped into what it means to do purpose-driven work.
Mhm. Yeah.
You went from just doing a job to having a purpose, and there is a difference.
Mhm.
Not everybody can step into that place. It requires a kind of selflessness. That was a lot of edits. That was a lot of time. That was a lot of requests, but it was purpose-driven, and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And Eric, how does it feel right now knowing that your work in the beginning, just doing your best self, has contributed to helping 2,000 plus families a year through postpartum support services?
It feels great, but I want more, and I wanna help more, and I want others to help more, like, because if you guys out there listening, I'm not special, like, I understand that I'm not anything special, and so I know people can do much better than that, and I can do better than that. We can do better than that. And so part of me is like, yeah, like I love it, like that's amazing. And I didn't know that, and I just wrote that down because I want to make a note of that, because I didn't know those numbers, and I think those numbers are very important because that's actual like factual impact, and
Yeah,
that's amazing, and that's always good. But I want more. I want more. I'm like, damn,
I
let's
feel
help more. Let's we can do it. And so and
I
that
feel
was
that too.
you know what I mean? So, like, it's like, "Oh, shit," like, I did that, and I wouldn't say I wasn't trying, but it was like, it felt so like, now that I have that in my bag, in my toolkit, I wonder how much more I can achieve now that I know that.
Mhm.
So, that's my
Mhm.
approach in it, and that's what I think.
Yeah, accurate.
That's
Trevor,
amazing. Yeah.
how do you feel knowing that you have managed to cultivate a team like the one that you
Mhm.
have? More specifically, how do you feel knowing that you have in your team such young people with such purpose?
Well, let's not go too deep too quick. I mean, I have always felt alone. It's even since a kid. Like I've always felt alone. I've always beat to my own drum. And when I came up with the vision of Desire to Inspire Studios, which I didn't know was Desire to Inspire Studios in 2005 when I wrote my business plan and all of those things, I put it out there in the universe, and this is what I was going to achieve. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I'm going to achieve it. And this moment in time where it is, like I said, the hardest part of my career, professional career, since pursuing my path as a profession, as my career, and sitting down and explaining and being open and being able to be open with our team. And the majority of our team members like weren't born or were just born when I graduated high school, and I'm able to connect with them means one, I'm still cool. What? Right? Except for I just lost it by doing that. And then two is that, look, when you're putting your vision out in the world, you connect with like-minded people, and it can be done. And this this team meeting we had on Monday, where I broke down and was in tears, was probably the most edifying moment of my life as running Desire to Inspire Studios Foundation, where every one of our team members said, I don't know what I can do, but I got you. What can I do? And we will figure this out. Because we are all of the same mindset. We are all actually here to pursue our passion as a career, to give back to our community, to tell these stories of people helping people, to create our own communities. So I think that it's still not quite sinking in how incredibly fortunate and lucky I am to have the team members that we have. But I don't know that it would happen any other way, because the universe provides what I always need. And right now it's providing me a team full of loving, caring individuals who have the same vision. So we're at that half-hour mark.
We are.
I did find that postpartum support video. So
on May 6, 2019, Ivana Jakotic began the Postpartum Support Center as a result of her own experience with the birth of her second child and the lack of access to affordable or timely mental health support services in the county. Experts uniformly agree that professional help for postpartum depression is absolutely critical. According to the recent studies, since COVID, a shocking 1 in 5 mothers experiences severe depression, and 1/5 of these has reported suicidal thoughts.
Y siento bastante ayuda porque ha sido algo difícil para nosotros comprar los pañales, que ya ve que ahorita están muy caros, y cositas así para las toallitas y ropa para los niños. También ha sido un poquito difícil en estas circunstancias. Hemos sentido bastante apoyo ya. Con algo que nos dan aquí ya es suficiente para poder salir un tiempo.
Que ahorita como está la economía, no, a veces podemos cubrir los pampers, leches de nuestros hijos, y con estas ayudas pues podemos lograrlo.
Throughout COVID, going the extra mile, Ivana would meet people or place diapers and formula outside her own front door so families could get them. The stunning devotion and enduring gratitude from families helped over critical periods of temporary unemployment or family illness through this time are still glowingly reported to us today.
Ellos conforme van creciendo lo van necesitando. En el caso de mi nena, ahorita una cita para comer, que es lo que las muchachas nos acaban de dar.
De que hoy en día todo ha subido, la gasolina y todo, más sin embargo nos han ayudado con pañales, nos han ayudado con ropa, nos han ayudado con algunos accesorios como silla, como mesa.
Pues que no tengan miedo ni pena, porque es algo que ellos lo están haciendo de todo corazón.
Para nosotros ha sido, podríamos decir, una bendición, ¿verdad? Porque realmente necesitamos.
And we've seen families that don't know each other feel comfortable enough to break down those walls and offer other moms or other parents support.
In addition to offering mental health services, our programs include a 7 days a week support line, ROSE program, an evidence-based educational class that teaches skills and tools to pregnant people and helps prevent clinical postpartum depression.
We use interpersonal therapy to help moms understand how their roles and relationships will shift as they become a parent. It also gives them tools to navigate the postpartum period. It's been amazing to see when we have our postpartum follow-up meeting after the ROSE. Many mothers, have said they felt like they really gained tools, and they thought back to what we learned in the ROSE, and they used those tools when they were in their postpartum period. So that's been really powerful to see that it is making a difference, and we're so happy to provide that to moms in our community. And I really hope to see the Postpartum Center grow, increase our outreach, start new programs, provide more supplies and things to people in need in the community.
We have delivered diapers, clothes, and equipment to countless mothers and families in need. We have and continue to work closely with the Marin Community Clinics, serving the clinic's new mothers and families in greatest need. The operation is fueled by the generous donations of Marin families of their lightly used equipment and clothing, and formula and postpartum supplies sorted, organized, and made available by countless dedicated volunteer hours.
The Postpartum Support Center, with all its different branches, I feel it really impacts families. People are just so grateful, and that will impact their families growing up and the children and hopefully, the world, because people helping other people is really what it's all about.
It's a huge operation. There's strollers, there's cribs, there's toys, there's books, there's Halloween costumes today.
And to be able to offer, again, not only the diapers and the gear, but some softness, we are here to take care of you. You are welcome. You can have what you need. You can have what you want. I think that is what keeps me coming back.
Well, I wanted to come to help moms and other children that are in need of things. It makes me really happy to see everybody get their stuff.
A lot of people don't really know where to go or what to do, and so to be able to have a center and a place where they can go and get lots of different types of support, it's really a wonderful resource.
We also work to meet the needs the clinic outlines for complex cases for mothers and infants with challenging medical issues by providing what is requested. And we accomplish all this from the support and magnificent generosity of Marin residents.
I really appreciate you taking the initiative and making this a possibility. Bra, I know that this is like one of your least favorite things to do, and I am so incredibly fortunate that you are on our team. You are our team. You are our boss, and you are willing to step out of the comfort zone and jump on this live stream and tell us and share your stories and share where we're at. I think that this also is, the three of us is an embodiment of being the example, being the light, let people know it's real, and reaching out. So
we'll definitely poke you in the ear later for making me cry on camera, but for sure, it was good.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Well, we are also planning on doing this daily.
You dig.
I love it. It's going to be with different team members. It's going to be with people in the community. We're figuring out how we can bring people on live. So if you end up watching this live and you're like, yo, I want to be a part of this, I want to ask a question, or I want to share my story, we're going to try and keep them to a half hour, and we will make all of those things available. So this is a gem. What is it? A diamond in the rough, whatever it is, that's staying.
Yeah.
But this has been incredible, and thank you both.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Quick announcement. So tomorrow we'll have Christina on, and then Thursday I'm planning on having Cesar, possibly like a Q&A session with Javier from Multicultural Center of Marin, giving him some advice on some videography questions he had. So like a live session like that. So I'm going to
nice
for them, and then we'll have
that's a good plug. Don't forget to come out to the barbecue. Community Celebrate Life Barbecue, 4 to 7, the last Thursday of every month. This Thursday, we'll be bringing some food that we raised here at our household down in Monterey. Ooh. And I'm really excited about that as well. But yeah, come support, celebrate the little things in life that are there supporting. And again, although we are going through this really hard time, I know we are all incredibly grateful because, as you said, Eric, this is challenging us all to be our very best authentic selves right here, right now.
Yeah.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
See y'all.